Hey, sports fans, Larry, you to Run Blog Run. It is your favorite program, Conversations with Larry, otherwise known as Monologues with Larry. And my topic today is the running biz and how healthy it is, and the parallels to what's happened before. I was asked recently by a industry executive how I spend my day, and I'll let you in on a little secret. Probably 8 to 12 hours a day, I'm gathering information. I call it athletics intelligence. And it helps me understand what's going on in the world, globally, nationally, statewide, locally. I'm trained as a historian, and I've had great teachers and professors, starting with, back with Rich Grauer at DeSmet, and then Steve Prevett at Bellarmine, and Dr. O'Keefe, Dr. Moshe, Dr. Pearson, Dr. Gordon, at Kidder Smith, who I think is a doctor now, at Santa Clara. And, I was taught how to look at various sources of information, how to tell the exaggerations from the accurate information, how to realize that there is truth on both sides, and it's a lot of times you have to play within the middle to understand things. But from that, I can tell you this, that the pandemic has challenged us globally, as well as challenging in every country in the world. Some places are doing better than others. Africa seems to be doing better than most places. And it's probably because of their experience with the Ebola virus from years ago. The United States, it's not about how we could do it. It's quite frankly, and I'll talk about this in a future, that we're so fractured politically and emotionally that many of us are looking for some easy answers and someone who has all the answers. And as I can humbly say, that no one has all the answers. Besides listening to things that I do, I hope you listen to other people and talk to other people, because it's the only way that you can use your noggin. The unexamined life is not worth living. And I think Erasmus said that, and I'll stick with it. But here's what's going on in the running biz. Running is one of those few activities that you don't need anybody else to do. Running is something you can do socially distancing with people. Running you can do indoors and out. I suggest doing it outdoors. And running can be part or all of your regimen. I suggested being part of your fitness regimen. I think there should be weightlifting or weight-bearing type work, even going up and down stairs in a high school stadium, or going up and down the stairs in your basement. But you need to look at the whole body. What running needs is a good pair of shoes, and there's 48 companies out there that do running and trail shoes, and there are some that are doing spectacularly. The folks at Brooks, the folks at Adidas, the folks at Nike's back up to their pre-pandemic challenges or pre-pandemic numbers, but they've had some challenges. But I'll tell you, the brands that have really done well, Hoka 1-1 on running, our friends at Brooks, Asics is coming back very nicely. The folks at Skechers have developed a small running line, and it's doing well. Saucony's always been a stalwart out there, but most of these companies are having fantastic spreadsheets. The challenges are, when is it going to end? Are people going to stay involved in running? We're coming now up on our first real winter. I'm kind of doing a Game of Thrones idea of the winter's coming. So if you haven't seen Game of Thrones, then, you're one of the 2 people in the world who haven't. The idea is this, that we're getting into the first real winter with the pandemic. And yes, we've got vaccines on the horizon, and you should be extremely positive about those. I think that the companies that are doing them and the science that's involved in it makes for the possibility is very, very positive of us having several options, which is what we need. We don't need one drug to work. We need 6 or 7 or 8. And we're going to be taking this stuff at various times over our life because I think we're going to be dealing with pandemics in the future. That's because the whole world has come together. You can get around the entire world in 128 hours on an airplane. If my biggest fear isn't a pandemic like this, my biggest fear is a biological warfare agent that they put 6 sick people on 7 continents and say, let's get everybody sick. And if you don't think the security forces think about that every day, they do. The pandemic is real. People have died. People are dying. Back in January of 2020, I went from Dubai to Boston for the New Balance Indoor. I'd seen the Dubai Marathon, which I go to every year. And as I got into the States, some of my friends who work in the medical community, I started having chats with. I had the entire European indoor circuit planned to go like I did in 2019, and I shut it down. I was planning to go with my girlfriend and enjoy lovely Europe and over the winter, which is a lot of fun, and seeing some track meets, which is, geek heaven for me. But even with the knowledge I had then, and I wasn't a member of government, I'm not in the intelligence business, common information that I got from going to the CDC website, I could tell that this was a real thing and that the writers I respected in the medical community and the science community knew enough about it then that this was going to be a problem. And it is played out. And in fact, in the U.S., this is a product of the freedom that we have and the interpretations of that freedom. And it's scary. And it's going to get worse in November and December, and we're going to be a little more separated than we are now. But you can run and you can take care of yourself. Walking, running are daily little electroshock therapies. They open up your mind. They let you think. They let you be clear. They give you some private time. Those things are really important. And all you need is a good pair of shoes. So find the shoes that you like. Support local running stores because you can go to local running stores. There's about 700 of them in the country. And if you need the suggestion for one, you can either go to your favorite brand's websites or you can send me an email at runblogrun@gmail.com and I'll help you find a local running store. But go to a local running store, call them, go on their website. If you want to go in the store, wear a mask and check it out. But if you want to be safe, you've got a shoe that you like, ask them to bring it outside of the store for you. You'll give them their credit card. These guys will work with you. These men and women in these stores, every time you buy a product at a local running store, you're helping feed a local family. Okay? Get it. This is a big deal. And these stores had to close for a while. They will work with you any way they can. It's not that I'm anti buying stuff online. I think you should be buying stuff online from a local running store. I love, the online groups. I think they provide a good service. But when you can buy locally, do it. And now's the time to do it. Try to keep the local folks alive because this pandemic will be over someday. And you want local running stores. You want local restaurants. You want local businesses. Okay? So that's my diatribe. But the running industry, the brands are doing well, and they're trying to be very creative about how they're approaching this. They're trying to keep their staffs safe. I talked to one recently that had a meeting with several hundred of its dealers using Zoom or using one of the online, meet kind of group things. And so I think that's fantastic. So communication, we're going to get some benefits from the pandemic. I think more varied communication, the ability to know that we can get things online, but we can also do local, and how do you do that happy medium? Perhaps a better approach to exercise and health. But the running business is benefiting from that. It's very similar to what happened after 9/11. After 9/11, the only thing we could do is control things like how we exercised. Um, we didn't have control of anything else. We didn't know if someone was going to blow up another, building, and it was scary. And that time went into several years for the running business and being very, very strong. And remember, when the recession hit in 2007, running went crazy for 7 years. I mean, running business, there were really few issues in the running business until about 2015. And it's gone up and down. The folks at ASICS, I think, were one of the first companies to realize what was really going on. But then, ASICS got rid of the entire incredible team they had there. One of the dumber things that I've heard a brand do. But I've heard dumb things done by brands before. Yeah, let's get rid of the people who have the experience to lead us through crap, because we're going to save a couple dollars in the short term and then totally screw our brand in the long term. But that's just me spouting off, and my dear friends out there who were at ASICS know exactly what I'm talking about. But I've seen it at other brands too. And the short-term answer for some brands right now is going to be to let people go. And a lot of times you're letting experience go. And you need that happy medium between enthusiasm and experience. Young people and people with some life experience. I remember chatting with an online company that I was doing an interview with. It was about a possible job about a decade ago. And I was older than everybody, including their CEO. And they asked me why they needed me. And I said, well, you need someone so you can make your own mistakes. It's why I used to talk to my dad about a lot of business stuff and pick his brain. My dad was a manager at Ford for about 30 years, then worked at a couple computer companies, and then worked for Numi. And the Japanese loved him. And my dad said, like, I've gone to management heaven when he was there, because the Japanese respected a man in his 70s with life experience. I think sometimes in America, we don't get that stuff. And it's sad because we're losing out on some great resources. But I have digressed. The running business is doing pretty well right now, with the exception of some distribution issues, some shipping issues, getting product from China, getting product from Asia has been a challenge, and trying to keep the running store channel afloat is a challenge too. There's good running stores, and these guys will survive anything. But there's also some stores on the tip, and are they going to make it? It's like the restaurant business right now. I hear in California that where I was for 5 months, that 1 out of 3 restaurants will be closed within the next year. That's terrible. The variety alone, I want my falafels and my Ethiopian food and my, what else do I like to eat? Mexican food and my Thai food and my, tofu-based products at Ben's on 9th and Santa Clara. Yeah, go to my friend Ben's and make sure you wear your mask, but get some of his happy vegan food. The issue is this. We're all interconnected, as much as you guys hate me doing the whole global village thing and like to call me a commie. The truth is, over the last 4 centuries, we've been getting closer and closer. Now we're to the point that we are interconnected. And while all these, I see parallels to the 1930s in America. I see this whole isolationist thing kind of coming in again, and there's a regionalist thing coming in again. And the truth of it is, the country is connected. What happens in New York affects what happens in California, and what happens in Michigan and Minnesota and Wisconsin. Oh my gosh. But it also the same thing that's going on in Europe right now. And running is strong in North America. Running is strong in Europe. Running is beginning to explode in Asia. Running is strong in the Middle East, and running is beginning to become strong in Africa. Running in a lot of ways is a middle-class sport. The truth is, it's a very inexpensive sport, running shoes, although the prices continue to be going crazy. But the running industry is healthy, and they need to take this time to look at what's going on, not this year, but what's going on in 5 and 10 years, and how they're going to be affected, and how they help build a sport and open it to more people. Running is a universal activity, and the running biz should look at it that way. And thank God they're doing well at this time. I hope they continue to take care of the people who are supporting their brands. And, I can't tell you how much I love opening up a new shoebox and smelling that shoe smell. It's just fantastic. So, running biz, congrats for finding a way to juggle the pandemic. Thank you for the things that you're doing to help people, because a lot of the brands are doing programs to help people in this incredible time. And I salute them. And it's interesting to see the brands that are doing well. The Brooks, the Hoka 1-1s, the On Running. What are they doing? They're focusing on their core businesses. You watch the big brands, and that's what's happened at Adidas, and that's why Nike's back to where it is again. People get, and they kind of go, oh, I'm going to look here, I'm going to look here, I'm going to look here. And at the end of the day, what's your core business? Do your core business well. I remember in 2000 when Jim Weber, the new president at Brooks, told me he was going to cut off his biggest client at the time. And he did it because it was big money per se, but they were making no business office, and it wasn't where the future was. And I said, man, you're really brave. But you know what? It was one of the smartest things that Jim Weber's ever done. And other brands have had to do those kind of things too. And they've had to let go parts of their business. Right now, the rumor is that Adidas is looking at where Reebok's future is. And I don't want to see people lose jobs. I think they're both historic brands. And perhaps there's a place for both of them in the world. But some people don't work well together, and some people do. And that's because there's humans involved. But this running biz is a breathing, living entity. And it's doing really good things. It's putting something on our feet so that we can go out and run and walk and clear our brains and clear our souls and consider the present, the future, and respect the past. This is Larry Eder with RunBlogRun. This was a bit of a salute to the running biz and a few other digressions, but you know me. Thanks again for listening in. If you like us, it's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Like us on all three, please. We get paid because of the eyeballs, and tell your friends about us. If you love us, if you really love us, as Sally Field said on that Academy Award show so many years ago, subscribe on the YouTube. We've got thousands of videos and something for all your taste. And if you haven't watched the Cavs Mackenzie series, please check it out. The Halloween one was spectacular. Anyway, Larry Eder, RunBlogRun. Thanks again. Mike Deering, thank you for producing Conversations with Larry, Socialing the Distance, and Athletics Chat. And thanks to all our viewers. Talk to you soon.